us today, or if you encounter difficulties with Wi-Fi connection. Welcome to our last of 7 series of seminars. And today we're going to talk about something that is very interesting, especially for those of you who are class advisors or will be class advisors. But even if you're not yet class advisor, you can learn a lot about the need to create a culture inside a classroom, um, to create an identity, to create a mindset. This is really what it means to be an effective class advisor, or for an ordinary teacher, meaning to say not a class advisor, but a teacher of a subject or a class. You too can learn a lot about how to create a class culture, class mindset, class spirit. Okay, sometimes I entitle this as I choose to be an effective class advisor, because the truth is it's a choice. Okay, some of you may have been class advisors in the past, and you and I had class advisors when we were students, so we know different kinds of class advisors. There were those who made a difference in our life. There are those that we look for when we go back to the school, our alma mater, because we do not just see them as subject teachers, we see them as friends, mentors. Probably for some of us, they were even our biggest influence. And that's how it is. Those of you who have been class advisors in the past years, you know how crucial it is that sometimes students open up to the class advisor more than to their parents, more than to their guardians. I'm sure many of you have already experienced that, where a student goes to you and tells you, "Ma'am, sir, malaking problema ko. Nag-away kami ng nanay ko, nag-away kami ng tatay ko. My parents do not understand me." I know even some class advisors who will tell me, a student came up to me to tell me, "Ma'am, buntis po ako. Hindi ko kayang sabihin sa mga magulang ko." But she is able to tell the class advisor. How come some of them are effective and some of them we don't remember? We've had class advisors who perhaps were minimalist. Yan. Ang impression nila, ang idea nila of class advisory is simply collecting reply slips, checking attendance, submitting the attendance report to the office, distributing cards. That's it. It ends there. Yung bang parang minimalist. They don't go beyond. On the other hand, you and I had class advisors who talked to us when we were lagging behind, who found the time to pull us aside to talk to us. Anong problema, iho? Anong problema, iho? Iha, bakit ka bumabagsak sa mga quizzes mo? Why are you doing poorly in this or that subject? Bakit ka laging late? They were class advisors who were more than just teachers. They were mentors, second parents. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to base my discussion on a book entitled Teach Like Your Hair is on Fire by Rafe Esquith, a fantastic teacher. I met him in Washington, D.C. He was teaching grade 5 for 28 years in a community in Los Angeles called Hobart's Elementary School. In that community, most of the students were had English as second language, and many of them would end up failed, kicked out, or even jailed, except all the students who passed through the grade 5 class of Rafe Esquith, most of whom end up in Ivy League schools, Harvard, Stanford, top universities, MIT. What did he do? How come he produced highly successful adults from among his grade 5 kids? Well, I'm going to share a number of those strategies which he put down, he wrote in his book, Teach Like Your Hair is on Fire. Unfortunately, it's not very easy to find that book in National Bookstore or in I think Fully Booked. You can go to the cashier and order it, and then they will order it for you, or you can go to Amazon, and Amazon delivers for free to the Philippines if your order is $49 or more. But it's a fantastic book, and how I wish all teachers are able to read this. So many strategies on how to be a spectacular, highly successful teacher, especially class advisors. In the case of Rafe, it's a self-contained classroom. So he would be the teacher from 7:30 in the morning to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. He would handle all subjects, including PE. Now, the bell would ring at 7:30 a.m., but his students are inside the classroom as early as 6 a.m., excited to do math, English, spelling drills. He doesn't force them. The kids are excited to be there, taking uh, drills, doing answer sheets, working on um, self-paced quizzes and tests in math, in English, in spelling. Why? Well, I'm going to share some of the reasons why in this session today. The bell would ring at 3 p.m., but his students are there up to 6 in the evening. From 3 to 6, they would join the rehearsals for a Shakespeare play, which is part of his Hobart's Shakespearean theater. And at the end of the year, they would perform it. And many times they would be invited all over the United States to perform that Shakespeare play presented by grade 5 kids. How does he do it? Well, how come students are excited to be there, to be part of that play? Well, I'm going to talk about those strategies. And then we will also look into another fantastic book. I think I made reference to this in one of the past days sessions. Al Urban's book entitled Lessons from the Classroom, 20 Things Good Teachers Do. And while the book says 20 things, really, he doesn't just talk about 20 strategies. He talks about dozens and dozens of strategies. He's a very good friend of mine. I brought him to the Philippines 3 times already to talk to thousands of teachers in SMX, in Bataan, in Cebu. Yeah. Okay, so let's get straight into the discussion of class advisory. Class advisory is crucial because it is one of the most effective tools we have in the school to form character, to educate our students in morals, in virtues, in values. That's why I put a lot of premium to class advisory, especially because many times the class advisor is the one in a position to make the students feel something, feel excited about school, feel eager to learn, feel motivated to win that championship, to win that sabayang bikasan, to win that contest, that competition. It's a class advisor in a position to do that. Kung natalo sa basketball game, sa intrams, the Class advisor is in a position to make the students feel not giving up, feel motivated to look forward to the next game and to try again, and not to feel bad, depressed, sad, and feeling like a loser. The class advisor is in a position to make the students learn about sportsmanship, the joy in victory, and humility in being in losing. That's the job of the class advisor. He is in a position to make the students, the class, feel whatever is appropriate. After all, it is through the class advisors where we understand more clearly this expression. We are not in private practice. We are in the helping and caring profession, a service profession to help students, kids, young people enhance the quality of their lives. That's class advisory. Okay, here are principles. I need you to understand and to accept. And if you accept this, it will make sense why we will have to look for those strategies, why we will have to start new things, new systems, new techniques, why we will have to go beyond the minimum. Number one principle, an effective class advisor can have the greatest impact on the formation of the students. And when I say formation, I mean character formation, virtues formation, even spiritual formation, even academic formation, even professional formation. But take note of the keyword effective, because as you and I know, we've had class advisors who were not exactly effective. So today we're going to look into, okay, what then made those great class advisors we had effective? Here's another principle I need you to accept and to understand. On his or her effectiveness or ineffectiveness lies the spirit or the lack of it of the class. Minsan, students can be determined by the way they behave. Masasabi mo, ay, kaya naman pala, advisory ni Mrs. So-and-so yan. Kaya naman pala, nasa class advisory ni Mr. So-and-so yan. Minsan ganun. Ay, very competitive. Siguro galing yan dun sa class ni Sir So-and-so. Kasi yun yung character, yung trait, yung spirit ng class na yon. Competitive, excited. And then minsan meron tayong sinasabing, nako, ganyan talaga yung class na yan. Pinakamahirap yan. Hawakan. This year. That's the most challenging. What is the spirit of the class? Whatever it is, I will trace it back to the class advisor. The effectiveness of the class advisor. Kung negative, the ineffectiveness of the class advisor. That's why this is the title we gave, Conjuring the Spirit of the Class. The class advisor is expected, is capable of being able to create what kind of trait, personality, character of the class as a class. So here are expectations of class advisors. Okay, please remove from your mind yung wrong notion that class advisor's job is simply to collect reply slips, mag-collect ng payments, mag-start ng day and end the day. Kasi ganun minsan, di ba? Most of the schools I know, the class advisors are the first ones to meet the students, to check attendance, to give reminders, to collect whatever has to be collected, the reply slips, payments, um, and then aalis ng classroom, babalik na lang sila at the end of the day to get the students to clean up, to pick up trash, to align the desks, and then to dismiss them. Wait, There's more to being a real effective class advisor. Here for me as are the real expectations. You see, it's the class advisor who is supposed to get the students to identify themselves with the spirit of the school. Really, that's the job of the class advisor, to be the one to get the class to understand and appreciate what the school stands for. Therefore, if they are expected to do that, edi dapat sila mismo naiintindihan nila what the school stands for, what the spirit of the school is, what are the core values of the school. Because it is the class advisors now who are expected to transmit, to relay the spirit of the school to the students. Sino pang gagawa nun? Yung tarpaulin? Sino pang gagawa nun? The principal who cannot even be in all the classrooms every day, who cannot even call for an assembly of all the students all the time? No, it's the class advisor. Therefore, expectation, class advisors should have a full understanding and sincere appreciation of the spirit of the school. Officers, principals, administrators should understand this very clearly. The reason why nag-enroll ang mga anak ng mga magulang sa eskwelahan natin, it's because the parents believe in what we stand for. Sa dami-dami ng pwede nilang pagpili ang eskwelahan, bakit dito sa ating eskwelahan in-enroll? Because the parents must have studied the different alternatives and they chose this. Why? Because they believe in the, for some, Catholic formation. For some others, it's the strong character formation. From some others, what they really are convinced about is kasi alam nila the students here are taken care of. It's a kindness zone. It's a school where students are made to feel part of the community. Whatever it is, dapat alam ng class advisors what the school stands for, the mission, the vision. Therefore, they have to understand it and they have to fully appreciate it to be able to transmit it to the students. Number two, the class advisor is really the direct link to the parents. We are the ones who communicate with the parents. We write a note. Kung laging absent ang bata, it's the class advisor who will write a letter to the parents. Ma'am, sir, we need to monitor his attendance more because he or your son, your daughter is reaching a point where he or she might be given sanction. So, tayo yun. Or, ma'am, sir, we need to help your son prepare for the final exams because he is doing poorly. He did poorly in the quizzes and in the unit tests in these subjects. You see, it's a class advisor. Therefore, dapat ang mga class advisors can communicate with ease, orally and in writing. When I say with ease, uy, hindi pwedeng bako-bako ang grammar. Hindi pwedeng balu-baluktot ang English. Kasi yun ang dadating sa parents and the parents have the right to say, aba, ano ba namang klaseng English nitong teacher mo? Nitong class advisor mo? Makakahiya. Mali-mali. The parents will now judge the school according to what they read, the note that we send them, and what they hear about from our students. So, dapat galingan natin ang ating ability to communicate in Tagalog and in English, in writing and in speaking. That is an expectation. Number three, kilala ko kayong class advisors eh. Hindi lang kayo class advisors. Minsan, choreographer kayo para sa number ng class nyo sa Christmas program. Minsan, coach kayo. sa intrams, sa basketball at sa football. Minsan, kayo rin yung um, trainer ng students para sa sabayang bigkasan, para sa declamation contest. Because the class advisor is supposed to oversee napakaraming activities happening throughout the year. This is the third expectation. We need to have a certain intellectual capacity and some sort of managerial skills to oversee, to handle, to monitor so many things that will be happening throughout the year with our class. The co-curriculars, the competitions, the tournaments, the academic contests, the assemblies, bringing them to the first Friday Mass if you are a Catholic school and you have this tradition, and bringing them to seminars, class excursions. Ang dami. And that is the class advisor's turf to oversee all these things. So, ang dami. That's what a class advisor is supposed to do, but it's worthwhile. It is because of this that we can say we actually can have the greatest impact on the lives of our students. Okay, here's a preamble. I need you to accept, to understand, and to accept that an effective class advisor can probably, possibly have the greatest impact on the formation of students. Sabi ko nga kanina nung introduction, minsan nga tayo yung parang in loco parentis. That's why, as I mentioned, maybe some of you have already experienced it. A student comes to you, "Ma'am, buntis po ako. Sir, iniwan kami ng tatay ko. Ma'am," many times they open up to us. And you're not going to say, oops, teka muna, teacher lang ako. I no. A class advisor sometimes has to act like the second parents. I mean, we loosely use that expression. The teachers are like the second parents. But even more so, the class advisor. More than the science, math, English, social studies, Filipino teacher. It's the class advisor who many times in school acts like the second parents. So then, sabi ng research sa US, a study did by the Senate in the US, they discovered that if a school is a vibrant, innovative, child-centered place, if it is a if it has a reputation for excellence in teaching, if students are performing to the best of their ability, one can almost always point to the principal's leadership as the key to success. That is for the whole school. Now, the same study also showed that if a class, if a class is vibrant, innovative, child-centered place, if it has a if it has a reputation for excellence, if students are performing in that class to the best of their ability, one can almost always point to the class advisor's leadership as the key to success. Okay, it's already 3:24. I want to be able to give you as many strategies, as many ideas on what you can do this coming new school year to make class advisory more exciting, more fruitful, more effective. Here's the first system, which I concocted in my 15 years in Southridge and later on 5 years in Northfield and also 5 years in Bannister Academy. I put up a system called Award for Class Excellence or Class Excellence System. And what is it? It's a system whereby, parang sa Harry Potter, a class can gain merits, points for good things that they do, for all the great things that the class does. Okay? Which, as you are going to see many times, if the class advisor is an excellent class advisor, he or she is the one who will make the class excellent, do excellent things, do great things. For example, zero tardiness, zero absences. The class advisor can make it happen. I know in some schools, problemado sila with absenteeism or tardiness. Students coming to class late, coming to school late many times, repeatedly. Some skipping school, being absent for the slightest excuse. Well, this class excellence system can address those things. Does the class advisor have a hard time getting the students to clean the classroom? The class excellence system will address that. Does the teacher, the class advisor, have a hard time making the students do the bulletin board decorations? We will make it part of the class excellence system. Okay, so you can call it by name. Napaka-generic ng class excellence award or class excellence system. When I was teaching in Bannister Academy, a school that used to be there in Quezon City, now they moved to Antipolo. I put it in place. And since this is the logo of the school, you see there are two lions. Ang tinawag namin doon is Lion Award for Class Excellence. Yan. In Southridge, when I implemented it for the first time, our battle cry for the year was Soar Great Heights. That was the battle cry. Okay, so instead of calling it Southridge Class Excellence System, we called it the Eagle Award for Class Excellence with a Soaring Great Heights compatible the Eagle Award for Class Excellence that is perfectly um, compatible with a Soaring Great Heights. So you can call it by any name. When I was teaching in Northfield, the logo of the school shows a how do you call this, a uh, lighthouse, yan, that shows direction to the sailors. Okay, so we called it the Lighthouse Award for Class Excellence. Be creative to make it sound cool and chill, and that the kids can be excited about. And then, instead of calling it points, for example, in Harry Potter, you hear about Gryffindor, 50 points. Yan. The Slytherins, 100 points. That's generic. So instead of calling it points, in the Eagle Award for Class Excellence, we called it wings. 50 wings for the class that has zero tardiness for the month. 100 wings for the class that had zero absence for the whole month. So you can call it by any names. In the case of Lion Award, you remember the logo of Bannister Academy. There's two lions and then a shield. So that's what we call the points. 100 shields for grade 6A. 100 shields for grade 2B for having the most most beautiful bulletin board. Yeah. So for example, here are ways by which the class can get points or wings or shields. Zero absence, zero tardiness, clean classroom recognition. The janitors at the end of every day would go around the different classrooms and they have an evaluation form, which let's say only has 5 items that the janitor will look for when he checks a classroom. Is the whiteboard or bulletin, the blackboard erased, clean? Is the trash can area clean? Are the rows aligned? Is there no trash on the floor? Are the lockers orderly or in order? So all those are the five things that the janitor will go and check. It's like just doing a checklist. And then all that will end up in the vice principal's office or the coordinator and will tally. If a class had four check marks, or rather, if a class has five check marks, at least 4 days in 1 week, meron silang 30 shields. For every student in good standing in clubs or varsity, 10 shields to the class. For every student making it to the varsity, making it to the club, 50 shields for every student that competes in an international competition. 30 shields for every student that competes in a national competition. 10 shields for every student that competes in a district competition. And then meron kayong mga parent-teachers conferences. I was once invited to speak in a school with 3,000 students and all the parents were invited. Pagpasok ko ng auditorium, there were only 40 parents out of more than 3,000 families. Ang feeling ko, ano to? Bakit ganon? Well, now a class will be given 100, the class will be given 50 points or 50 shields or 50 wings if 100% of their parents are represented in the next PTA assembly, in the next parent forum. 30 points for 70% of the parents attending 70% in a class. 80% of the parents going to the fun run, 40 points, etc. You can put in here whatever you want the students to be doing, giving points. I love a school where students are trying to outdo each other, doing good, cleaning the room, decorating the bulletin board, being present all the time, not being late. I love a school where you have all these. And this is what an excellent school looks like. Students motivated, excited to do good, to do the right thing. Now, of course, we expect them especially to study and study hard. So that is the one that should be given the biggest wings or points or merits or shields. If 100% of the students in the class make it to honor rolls, the class will be given 100 shields. If the class is able, if 90% of the class are able to make it to first honor, second honor, or third honor, 90 shields, etc. And you can put in here, what else do you want the students to do? If they join the Sabayang Bigkasan, then the class automatically gets a certain number of points and even more points if they win in the competition. If they participate in the open house, whatever it is you want them to do, you assign these points. Now, here is the key. You see, they are not competing against each other. They're not competing against the other classes because at the start of every quarter, let's say, if your school follows quarterly system, at the start of the quarter, you will announce to the whole school, okay, this quarter, for your class to qualify as a class excellence awardee for this quarter, your class should be able to get 1,500 shields. You will have to determine that it is not easy, but it should also not be impossible. You will say every class that is able to garner a total of at least 1,500 points or wins or shields will be given the excellence, class excellence recognition for the quarter. You see, any class that is able to reach that number, Therefore, they are not competing against the other classes, they're competing against themselves. And the students will be telling each other, hey guys, come on, zero absence tayo this month. Hey guys, come on, clean the room every day so that we get the points from the clean classroom checklist of the janitors, of the aides. Hey guys, come on, uh, do your best to get high grades so that we get a lot of points for the 100% of the students making it to first or second or third honor. I'll give you an example. I was class advisor of grade 7D. And in one quarter, here are the points we were given because we submitted the virtue of the month commentaries, because we submitted the virtue of the month mottos, we submitted the reply slips for the um, mid-quarter status. We were always 100% in gala attire, and so all those had points. And then we came up with initiatives because you are also going to tell them there are many initiatives you can do by which the class can gain wings, points, fields. For example, we had the initiative of having a welcome newsletter for the parents. We put up our class website. We did a class pilgrimage to Tagaytay, the shrine of Our Lady of La Salette. We went to an enchanted kingdom class bonding the excursion organized by the class, etc., etc. I love a school where students are trying to outdo each other in doing good, doing outreach, doing community service, um, building friendship, camaraderie, and that's when you start seeing class spirit beginning to form. Now, ang corny naman kung tatawagin mo lang grade 6C, we have 100 points. You might as well have a class name. And this is what we would do in Bannister, in Northfield, in Southridge. We institutionalize this in the first day. On the first day of the school year, the class is supposed to agree to meet and choose a name by which they will be known. And then we would tell them, dapat virtue and then an animal, or virtue and then something. So, to highlight the importance of virtue. So, for example, my class was called the Daring Darters. Yan. Kasi that year, sabi sa amin, dapat name of kind of birds. Okay? Tapos meron din dong um, how do you call this? Perfect pigeons. An adjective and then a name of a bird, like that. No? So you make them come up with a name by which they will be known, not just generic 6A, 5B, 7D. And then they might as well come up with class motto by which they will be motivated, united by a common value or virtue. And then they might as well design a class logo, an emblem. And in the case of the lower grades, they would even come up with a class cheer, a cheer by which they would start the day. And when you do that, you really have created a class culture, a class spirit, a class mindset. And the teachers now can say, okay, class, we're going to go to the chapel to attend the first Friday Mass. I expect best behavior, okay? Because you're carrying the name of the class. Because whatever they see of our behavior there, that is what they will think of our class. You really have created a class identity. Now, this will make more sense. This will make more sense if we put in a clear example, the Paref Southridge experience, where I did this for the very first time, and this is how it looks like in reality, in action. So here, for example, is the grade 6A classroom. And look at that. The name they chose for this year is, they said they're going to be known as the Resolute Wolves. And then they chose their core values: fortitude, truthfulness, self discipline, faith, obedience, generosity, responsibility. Tapos meron pang silang piniling motto, Duc in Altum. And then, three most important values they will emphasize: respect, fortitude, responsibility. Very nice. Here's another one, grade 2A classroom. And they said, okay, we will be known as the hardworking ants. And we're going to have courtesy, obedience, and order and kindness as our core values. And this is our logo. And then here's another classroom. You will see inside the room a constant reminder of the virtue that we stand for, the motto of the week, the classroom rules. Along the corridors, you're going to see what is our virtue for the month. Let's go to another classroom, grade 2C. They call themselves the Friendly Cobras. I don't know how you can be a friendly cobra, but anyway, that's the name they chose for themselves. And then they even chose their core values. There's their logo. And then here's another class, grade 3B, the Brave Barracudas. And you have three core values that they chose for themselves: bravery, loyalty, zealousness. So all these are class motto, class logo, class core values in action. And then when you enter their classroom, you will see their banner, their emblem. This is for the zealous cults of grade 3C. This is the enduring Ascals. That's their banner. Now, every month to start the month, they would assemble in the auditorium, at least the elementary, and then the high school will have their own assemblies. And somebody would usually give a talk about the virtue of the new month that is starting. And look, when they enter the auditorium, they're going to see their banner there on stage displayed. And some of them, as soon as makita nila yung kanilang banner, they start doing their class cheer. I mean, try to imagine the scenario as students are assembling, going to the auditorium class by class, and each class proud of their class because it's there on stage displayed. And of course, especially for the kids, it becomes um, really electric, electrifying when Captain Virtue appears on stage. Here to give recognition to students who lived some of the virtues exceptionally well. That's the principal on the left side, and then Captain Virtue there, handing out certificates to students who deserve to be given recognition. But they went beyond that. They even worked on having class shirts that they would wear during the assembly to start the month. Now you really have a feel of class spirit, class identity with their class cheer and class motto. So, this is what we mean when we say um, we are in the position, class advisors are in a position to really create the culture, the class culture. Okay? More pictures of Southridge with the virtues in action. It works. It works, especially in being able to excite the students in doing good, in living the virtues, in keeping order, in keeping the rooms clean, in following what the school asks them to do, etc. Now let's go to Rafe Esquith. Rafe Esquith and his book, as I mentioned to you earlier, Teach Like Your Hair is on Fire, one day asked the question, why is it that sometimes I'm able to make a great impact on the lives of my students and sometimes not as much? So he asked that question, how come sometimes I make a great impact? When is it that we teachers are able to make the greatest impact on the lives of our students? You know, the answer he found, we teachers are able to make the greatest impact on the lives of our students when we teach them life skills. Let that sink in. We teachers are able to make the greatest impact on the lives of our students when we teach them life skills, skills they will need for the rest of their life, not just skill to pass a quiz, skill to pass a test, or just skill to pass a subject, but skill that they will need for the rest of their lives. That is when we really, truly are able to make a great impact in their lives. And so he devised a scheme by which he will be able to teach them life skills. And here is the beginning of his methods and madness in room 56. For 28 years, his classroom in Hobart's Elementary in Los Angeles has just been that, room 56. And in the book, Teach Like Your Hair is on Fire, the first chapters, he talks about methods. And then at a certain point, he says, from here on, the other things I will discuss are already madness. They're not for ordinary teachers. So only go as far as where your madness will lead you. So here's what he devised. He devised a system for his classroom by which he will be able to teach them life skills. Day one, he would tell the class, okay, class, this is grade five. Okay, class, welcome to grade five. My name is Rafe Esquith. This is room 56. He will get them excited about the school year. And then he would tell them, by the way, the chair you're sitting on, you have to pay a monthly rental. So he devised an economic system. That chair you're sitting on, you have to pay monthly rental. Life skill, di ba? That's real life. There's no such thing as free house, free home. You have to earn. Um, and if you're not able to pay your monthly rental for that chair that you are sitting on, you will have to sit on the floor. Real life. I mean, that's life skills. That's how it is. Hindi ka makapagbayad ng renta mo sa bahay, aba, edi you're ejected. You will have to leave. You cannot stay. So, but he will tell them, okay, but here are job openings that you can apply for. Okay? I'm going to give you job application forms because you need to earn a salary. When we talk of money here, by the way, we're talking of Rafe Esquith is talking of Mickey Mouse money, Monopoly money. In his case, because he's been doing it year after year after year, he already printed his own currency in room 56. Okay, so here are job openings that you can apply for so that you can earn monthly income, so you have money to pay for your monthly rental of the chair you're using. Here's the first job opening. By the way, pag binigyan niya sila ng job application form, it is a real job application form na many years later, when these students become professionals and they will apply for a job, they will see that form again and they will think, ay, nagawa ko na to nung grade 5. I've done this. This is nothing new. He has taught them a very important life skill. Here are job openings that you can apply for so that you have a salary. Banker, salary $600 a month. Because for every 5 of you, one will act as a banker, keeping track of the income, the earnings, and the deductions, the demerits, the fines of the 4 others. So you need one banker for every 5 students, keeping track of their income, the interests, the earnings. Here's another job opening, and it's the highest paying job of them all, janitor. He will divide the room into 4 districts. Each district, each area has one janitor, uh, paying, rather earning the highest salary, $650. Can you imagine? He earns more than the banker. Day one, tinuturuan niya na sila. It's not about the title. It's not about the um, prestige. It's the service you give that puts value to your work. That's why the room is spick and span, very clean, because the janitors are paid to keep cleanliness and order. Here's another um, job you can apply for, graders. Siguro kanina nung binanggit ko, students are eager to be there by 6 a.m. Excited to do math, English, spelling drills. Siguro some of you are thinking, ay naku, dagdag trabaho sa teacher yon. Hindi. There are graders who take charge of these answer sheets, these tests, these papers, these drills, and they also keep track of they also check those papers, they keep track of the grades, and their paid salary for doing that, the graders. Here's another job you can apply for, the messenger. Kasi hindi natin maiwasan, minsan kailangan tayong magpadala ng estudyante sa office, to call a teacher, to inform the principal. We need a messenger. Here's another job you can apply for, police officer. For every area, district of the classroom, there's one police officer keeping order and discipline. Kaya kahit walang teacher, no problem. There are police officers paid to do that work of keeping order. Here's another job, opening, video monitor. Kasi in the classroom of Rafe, meron siyang mga library of life-changing movies, videos. Of course, during that time, may DVDs pa, may VHS. Ngayon, you can have USBs with the video files. And we need somebody to monitor because students can borrow and watch those life-changing movies at home on a weekend. Here's another job opening, recycler, the glamorous name for garbage in charge. Here's another job opening, and it's the most boring of them all, attendance monitor. Most boring because nobody is late and nobody usually is absent. Kahit meron na silang fever of 40, ayaw mag-absent. And you will understand why in a while. But we need somebody to be in charge of attendance. Here's another one, job opening, clerk, to assist the teacher. keeping order in the teacher's materials, teacher's table. Here's another one, librarian. Because in the classroom of Rafe, meron siyang library of books, and he requires the students to do book report on a very regular basis. One book every 2 weeks, they should be able to read that. That's why in the class of Rafe, at the end of grade 5, students are able to publish a book, each one of them. Just compile those book reports they do, and they are capable of publishing their own book. I mean, it's amazing. That's the class. And you can come up with other jobs that they can apply for, and they receive salary so that they can pay for the rental of the seat. And how much is the rental of the seat? The front of the row, let's call it Bel Air, $1,000 a month ang rental dyan. Kasi location is prime, close to the teacher. Middle of the room, let's call it Beverly Hills, $750 a month. Next to the video library, let's call it Hollywood, $700 a month ang rental for the chair. Near the water fountain, let's call it Santa Monica, 675. Pinakamura, yun yung nandun sa likod, Skid Row, $550 lang. You know, kung apply mo yan sa Pilipinas, saan ka ngayon nakaupo? Dito ako sa Shangri-La. Ay, this month kulang ang budget ko, doon ako sa Lianas nakaupo sa likod. Now, what you notice is mas mahal ang renta kesa sa salary. And that's why he gives them opportunities to earn bonus money. And here are ways the students can earn extra income. Get a perfect spelling test, get perfect in a spelling test or in a math drill, $50. The banker will credit to your account $50. Do it three times in a row. That becomes $100 credited by the banker to your account. If you get 90% on any other test, $50. 100%, $200. That's why students are studying and studying hard, because they want to get the perfect score. Completing a weekend video assignment. So sabi ko kanina, they can borrow a video, watch it at home, life-changing, and they have to answer 3 questions that will bring out the life lessons. And they return the video on Monday with those answers, and they get $50 in their credit, in their account. That's why some of them will not just watch one, but watch 2 or 3 of those life-changing, high-value videos on a weekend. Perfect attendance for the month, $100. Kaya walang gustong mag-absent. Coming to school early for extra math, $100. Staying for Shakespeare rehearsal every single day that they do that, $100. Joining the school orchestra, $100. Joining the school chorus, $100. Learning how to play the guitar with Rafe Esquith during recess or lunch, $100. Being complimented by another teacher, $200. Some of them, by the way, they can buy their chair if they pay 3 months rental. Okay? 3 months rental, they pay the banker and they own the chair. They don't have to pay monthly anymore. It's better to own than to rent. Some of them become so rich, they don't just buy their chair so that they don't have to pay monthly rental. They buy the chair of their classmate so that every month, okay, bayaran mo ko, I own that chair now, you pay me monthly rental. But they can also get fines. Tardiness, minus $50. Missing homework, minus $50 in your account. Being rude, like hindi ka nakikinig sa classmate who is speaking, reciting, minus $50. Messy desk. If the police discovers your desk in a mess, $100 fine. Dishonesty, cheating, plagiarizing, $500 fine. Now, all these Rafe put in place in order to teach them skills they will need for the rest of their life. However, this all have to be tied up with becoming men and women of virtues. Because otherwise, some schools learn about this, they implement it without the virtues and values. The students just become craving for, like greedy, craving for money. It doesn't work if you separate it from virtues, values, formation. Well, it's already 4 o'clock, and there are other strategies of Rafe and Hal Urban and my own strategies I learned along the way, which you will be able to see when you download the PowerPoint, the whole PowerPoint presentation that I will share with you when you claim your certificate. Okay, so there in the chat box, I posted already the link to claim the certificates. As usual, kindly please click on it and fill up the form and wait to receive the certificate in your inbox. Once you do, please do let us know if you have received it, because I want to make sure the link is working, the certificate generator is working. Okay? So far, only one. Okay, now 2 have filled it up. 4 have filled it up. Very good. Okay, so people are able to fill up the form. Let's wait until somebody tells us you have received the certificate in your inbox, just to make sure that it is working. Anybody has received the certificate? Okay, Ma'am Paula, thank you. Ma'am Maria Carolina has received it also. Okay, very good. Thank you so much. I invite you to turn on your video so that we can, let me turn